Today we are going to learn how to prepare a payroll. That is the focus of chapter 4. Payroll simply means we have to account for all the costs which the employer pays the employee. Those costs can come in the form of wages or salaries. So how do we define labor cost? Definition number 1, it says the labor cost can take the form of wages or salaries paid to workers during an accounting period, which can either be a day, a week, a month, or based on the piecework that the employee has performed. Number 2, labor costs can take the form of direct or indirect costs. So those are some of the definitions of labor cost. So direct labor cost is the cost that can be physically or can be identified in the final product that the company has produced. So as an indirect cost, labor cost is the cost which cannot be identified with the final product. Therefore, this cost will be classified as overhead. Then this is the main focus of the chapter, payroll preparation. Then whatever we are going to do from now onwards up until the end of these slides, I'm going to show you all the sections of the payroll. Let's start by defining different types of remunerations or different types of salaries. Number 1, a salary can be fixed. By fixed simply means we do not consider the number of days or the number of hours an employee has come to work. The employee is still guaranteed his or her salary irrespective of the number of hours, units, or days worked. Number 2, hourly wages. Employees are paid according to the number of hours worked, which means for you to calculate the salary or the wages of an employee, you have to get the number of hours an employee has worked, multiply them by the rate per hour. Number 3, piecework wages. Just like the hourly wages, piecework wages is influenced by the number of units or the volume of work the employee has done. So based on the number of units produced, multiplied by rate per unit, the employee can be able to get his or her salary or wages. So these are the components of payroll. First, you must have the wages or the salaries which the employee is guaranteed to pay. Number 2, you have incentives. Number 3, you have bonus. Number 4, you have overtime pay. So basic salary or normal salary plus your incentives plus your bonus plus your overtime pay give us the gross salary. Then normal or basic salary is the minimum or the maximum salary paid to an employee by an employer before any incentive or any bonus or any overtime. So number 3, we have incentives. These are what you are entitled to be paid based on the level of position you keep in the company. Directors have got various incentives, which can be in the form of your entertainment allowances and your clothing allowances, your cell phone allowances. So bonus, just like any incentive, is paid maybe on your birthday or at the end. So we've got two types of bonuses. A bonus can be either a 13th check or a 14th check. 13th check, you are going to get it irrespective of your performance, while 14th is performance related. So there are two types. This one, the 13th check, you get it irrespective of the number, the work we have done. There's nothing special about it. If it's there in your contract, you are going to get it. You get double pay of your salary. While 14th is based on the performance or the good work that you have done to your employer. Overtime, we've got two types of overtimes. There is what we call normal overtime or abnormal overtime. Normal overtime is an overtime worked during. The key word is during the normal working days. Monday to Friday or even Saturday, you work 8 hours a day, but if any hour above 8, we classify it as overtime. Abnormal overtimes comes on Sundays and public holidays. And these two types of overtimes are remunerated differently. So some of the exercises in the book will show you that when you are remunerated or you've worked normal overtime, you are remunerated at 50% above the normal rate. Well, if it's overtime, which is happened on Sundays and public holiday, is double the normal rate, which means you must multiply the normal rate by 2. Therefore, these overtime, since they are different, they should therefore be remunerated differently. Normal overtime are remunerated time the half or time the normal rate, which means we increase the normal rate by 50%, while if it's on Sundays and public holiday, you get double the normal rate. Here is an example. If your normal rate is 20 rand during the normal working days, this rate must be multiplied by 0.5 or simply by 50%, which means 20 rand multiplied by 50 rand by 50%, it becomes 30. So if it's public holidays, it's 20 rand multiplied by 2, it becomes 40. Then you will multiply the number of hours the employee has worked. If it's the whole 8 hours, you multiply by 40. If it's 3 hours or 4 hours there, you multiply by 50 rand. Deductions. There are two types of deductions. There are those that we consider them to be compulsory. By compulsory simply means they are required by law. Second types of deductions are voluntary. Compulsory, statutory, required by law. For example, pay as you earn, tax is required by law. UIF, Unemployment Insurance Fund, also required by law. Number 3, pension fund contribution is also required by law that the employer, before any other deductions, he must make the 3. Then the voluntary comes last. For example, your medical aid is not compulsory, it's voluntary. These are the different types of deductions: pension fund, unemployment insurance fund, pay as you earn, while other, which are voluntary, will come in the form of medical aid contribution, trade union contribution, your bond deductions if you are doing through your employer. It will also be done here. So all those which are not compulsory, they must come here. Then while the compulsory ones, they must also be showed separate, which means we deduct the three first in this order: pension fund, UIF, pay as you earn. Then the other deductions comes last. Then this is the format of the payroll. Number one, you must show us your basic salary, add your incentives, your bonus, your overtime payments. Then the sum of this gives you gross salary. Then gross salary, first deduction, you minus pension fund. The second category or the second on the line is UIF. The third is pay as you earn. Then you bring in the other deductions.